Chosen one, have you ever woken up at 3 a.m. with tears on your pillow, wondering if God forgot to write your name in the book of love? Have you stood at your kitchen window, watching couples half your age walk by holding hands, and whispered to the silence, "Lord, did I miss my turn?" Have you ever believed deep in the hidden chamber of your heart where shame lives that you're too old, too broken, too late for the kind of love that makes your soul feel like it's finally come home? Stop right there. What I'm about to tell you will shatter every lie the enemy has whispered about your romantic destiny. Chosen one. The truth about your God-ordained soulmate has been hidden in plain sight, and heaven could not let you scroll past this moment. This isn't coincidence. This is divine interception. You see, there's a reason why every relationship before now felt like wearing shoes 2 sizes too small. There's a reason why your heart never fully settled, even in marriages that looked perfect on paper. There's a reason why, at 70, 75, 80 years old, you still wake up with this unexplainable longing, this holy restlessness that whispers, "There's someone." That whisper? That's not loneliness talking. That's prophecy. In Revelation chapter 5, John wept because no one was worthy to open the sealed scroll, the scroll containing divine mysteries, eternal destinies, sacred assignments. But then the Lamb appeared, and what was sealed for generations was suddenly, violently, beautifully opened. Beloved, your soulmate is that scroll, and God has finally broken the seal. For decades, heaven has been holding back this revelation, not to punish you, but to protect you. Because what God has prepared for your latter years is so sacred, so specifically designed for who you've become through the fire, that releasing it any earlier would have been like handing diamonds to someone who still thought they were looking for glass. But tonight, this very night, the waiting ends. In the next few minutes, I will reveal the one truth your spirit has been waiting decades to hear. The truth about why your soulmate hasn't appeared yet. The truth about what God has been doing in the invisible realm while you've been crying in the visible one. The truth about the divine timing that looks like delay but is actually destiny ripening to perfection. If you leave now, you will miss the revelation that has your name written on it in heaven's handwriting. Before we go deeper, I want to pause and thank every single one of you who has supported this message through Super Thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just donating, you're helping spread light to others who feel alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful for your presence here, your support, your time, your attention. It all matters. And if this message resonates with your soul, go ahead and let the Spirit move. But right now, if your heart is already stirring, if something ancient in your chest just woke up, I need you to do something. Comment Amen below. Not for me, for heaven. So the angels who've been assigned to your love story can see that you're finally ready to receive what's been prepared since before time began. Tonight, beloved, we begin the unveiling, and nothing will ever be the same. Why do you think every relationship before now felt like reading a book with pages missing? Why did your heart never fully rest, even when you said "I do" at the altar decades ago? Why, after all these years of walking this earth, does something in your chest still ache for a love you can't quite name, a connection so deep it feels like coming home to a place you've never been? Because, beloved, you were looking for your soulmate in the wrong season. Let me tell you something that's going to shake the foundation of everything you believed about divine timing. God doesn't write love stories the way Hollywood does. He doesn't follow your timeline. He doesn't care about your age. And he certainly doesn't consult your doubts before he moves. Genesis 2:18 records the first lonely heart in human history. God looked at Adam, perfect man, perfect garden, perfect communion with the Creator himself, and declared something shocking. It is not good for man to be alone. Not good. Those words came from the mouth of a God who had just finished creating the universe and calling it very good. But human isolation? That made heaven pause. That stirred the Almighty to action. Listen to me carefully. Your longing for companionship isn't a weakness. It's not desperation. It's not you being too needy or too romantic for your age. It's divine design embedded in your spiritual DNA before you took your first breath. The need for a soulmate didn't come from romance novels or love songs. It came from the throne room of God Himself. But here's where most people miss it. Here's where the church has lied to you, where society has deceived you, where even your own mind has betrayed you. They told you that love stories have expiration dates, that after 65, 70, 75, the book closes. That companionship is for the young, and you should just be grateful for your memories. That's not just wrong, that's demonic. You thought the best love stories were behind you, but God saves the sweetest chapters for last. Think about Sarah, 90 years old when she birthed nations. Think about Moses, 80 when God handed him the assignment of a lifetime. Think about Anna the prophetess, 84, when she recognized the Messiah that everyone else overlooked. Why does God wait? Why does He hold back what your heart has been crying for since you were young enough to believe in fairy tales? Because the love He's preparing for your latter years requires a version of you that could only be forged through fire. The soulmate He's been hiding requires a heart that's been broken and mended by His hands alone. The companionship He's orchestrating demands a soul that's learned to find its completion in Him first. You couldn't have handled this love at 30. You would have worshipped the person instead of the provider. You couldn't have stewarded this connection at 50. You were still healing from wounds you didn't know you had. But now you're ready. Now you know the difference between infatuation and intimacy. Now you understand that real love isn't about completing you, it's about companioning the completed you. Now you carry the wisdom to recognize what's from heaven and what's from hormones. Your soulmate is like a lighthouse, visible only when the fog of your past finally clears. For decades, you've been sailing through thick fog, bad relationships, broken marriages, loneliness that felt like punishment, heartbreak that left scars you thought would never heal. But that fog wasn't random. It was necessary. Because if you had seen the lighthouse too early, you would have crashed on the rocks trying to reach it before you were ready. God has been clearing that fog, one painful layer at a time. Every tear you cried washed away another lie about your worth. Every night you spent alone taught you that your value doesn't come from being chosen by a person. It comes from being chosen by the King. Every disappointment in love redirected you away from counterfeits and toward the authentic. And now, right now, at this very moment, the fog is finally thin enough for you to see. But here's what's going to blow your mind. While you've been wondering if God forgot about your love life, He's been orchestrating the most intricate divine setup in your personal history. While you've been crying about being alone, heaven has been preparing someone who's been crying the exact same prayers. While you've been healing from your past, your soulmate has been healing from theirs. You were never late. You were being synchronized. Think about it. What if your soulmate needed to go through their own wilderness so they could appreciate the oasis of your presence? What if they needed to experience their own betrayal so they could treasure your loyalty? What if they needed their own season of loneliness so they could recognize the gift of your companionship? God hasn't been writing one love story. He's been writing two parallel stories that are about to converge in a way that will leave both of you breathless. In just a moment, I'm going to reveal the 3 unmistakable signs that God shows when your soulmate is close, signs so specific, so personal, so undeniable that you'll wonder how you missed them. But before we go there, I need you to do something. I need you to stop right now and whisper in the comments, "Lord, open my eyes." Not because I need to see it, because heaven needs to see that you're finally ready to receive what's been prepared, that you're finally willing to believe that your best love story isn't behind you, it's standing at your door, waiting for God to say, "Now, the lighthouse is visible, the fog is clearing," and what you're about to discover will prove that God's timing isn't late, it's perfectly, devastatingly, beautifully on time. But are you ready for what happens when divine timing finally intersects with your desperate longing? You know what nobody talks about? The weight, that invisible heaviness you've carried in your chest for the last 30, 40, maybe 50 years. The weight of a marriage that looked perfect in the wedding photos, but felt like slow suffocation behind closed doors. The weight of loving someone who couldn't love you back the way your soul needed to be loved. The weight of burying a spouse and wondering if God's plan for your heart died with them 6 feet under. I see you right now, sitting there, nodding, because you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe it was the betrayal, the affair you discovered at 62 that shattered everything you thought you knew about the person sleeping beside you for 40 years. Maybe it was the divorce that came so late in life. People whispered behind your back at church. At their age, couldn't they just make it work? Maybe it was widowhood that arrived too early, leaving you alone in a house that echoes with memories but offers no warmth. Or maybe, and this cuts the deepest, maybe you made a choice decades ago that you've regretted every single day since. You married for security instead of love. You settled because the clock was ticking, and everyone said you should be grateful someone wanted you. You walked away from the one who made your heart sing because they didn't fit your family's expectations, your church's standards, your own fear of what people would think. And now, at 75, 80, 85 years old, you lie awake at 2 a.m. replaying that decision over and over like a film reel that won't stop spinning, wondering what if, wondering who you could have become, wondering if you wasted your one chance at the kind of love that makes you believe in miracles. But here's what breaks my heart even more. You're not just carrying the weight of the past, you're carrying the fear of the future. You're terrified, absolutely terrified, that if love did knock on your door tomorrow, you wouldn't recognize it. That you're too damaged now, too set in your ways, too scarred by what came before to ever trust again. You think your heart is like Humpty Dumpty, broken so badly that all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put it back together. You look at younger couples starting fresh and you think, that ship has sailed for me. I'm in the last quarter of my life. Why would God bother with my romantic story now? Stop right there. Let me tell you something that's going to shake the foundations of that lie. Your heart isn't Humpty Dumpty. Your heart is stained glass. Think about the great cathedrals of Europe. Notre Dame, Chartres. The most breathtaking windows in those ancient churches aren't made from single, perfect panes. They're made from thousands of broken, colored pieces, shattered fragments that were carefully, intentionally arranged by a master craftsman. And when the light hits them just right, when the sun pours through those broken pieces, they create beauty so stunning, so sacred, that people travel across the world just to stand in that light and weep. That's your heart, beloved. Broken in places, yes. Fractured by betrayal, yes. Cracked by loss, absolutely. But when the light of God shines through those fractures, when His love illuminates the very places you thought made you worthless, you become more beautiful than you ever were whole. Listen to what the prophet Isaiah declares in chapter 61, verse 3. To give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Beauty for ashes. Not despite the ashes. From the ashes. Your heartbreak wasn't punishment, dear one. It was preparation. Every tear you cried over someone who didn't deserve you was teaching you to recognize the one who will. Every night you spent alone was training you in the sacred art of self-sufficiency, so you'd never again lose yourself in another person. Every scar on your heart was marking you, identifying you, preparing you for a love so mature, so divine, so perfectly timed that it could only happen now, after the fire, after the refining, after you've become who God always knew you'd be. You think you're too old for this? Moses was 80 when God called him to the greatest love story of all, loving a nation into freedom. Abraham was 100 when Isaac was born. Sarah was 90 when she laughed at the impossibility and then held the miracle in her arms. Your age isn't your disqualification, it's your graduation. But here's what I need you to understand, and this might shock you. Every person you've loved before, every relationship that didn't work, they weren't mistakes, they were mirrors. Each one was showing you a different piece of what you needed to learn, what you needed to heal, what you needed to become before you could handle the real thing. That emotionally unavailable partner taught you to value presence. That controlling spouse taught you to cherish freedom. That abandonment taught you your worth isn't determined by who stays or who goes. Every heartbreak was a classroom, and you've been earning your doctorate in divine love. What I'm about to say next may shock you, but it will explain everything. It will explain why the timing had to be this way, why you had to wait this long, why God held back what you've been begging for. If this part mirrors your story, if you've felt every word I've spoken like it was written specifically for your life, I need you to type 2 words in the comments right now. That's me. Don't think about it. Don't hesitate. Just let heaven see that you're ready to stop carrying the weight and start receiving the wonder. Because what comes next isn't just explanation, it's revelation, and you need to be fully present, heart wide open, defenses down for what God is about to unveil, about the soulmate He's been preparing while you've been healing. Now listen to me very carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to reveal will explain every sleepless night, every unexplainable feeling, every moment when you thought you were losing your mind, but were actually receiving divine downloads. You've been asking God for a sign. You've been begging heaven to show you if this hope you carry is real or just the desperate fantasy of a lonely heart. But what if I told you that God has already been answering? What if the signs have been flashing like neon lights in Times Square, but you've been too trained by disappointment to recognize them? There are 3 unmistakable signs, 3 prophetic markers that heaven is moving your soulmate into position right now. And if even one of these is happening in your life, you need to pay attention, because God doesn't send warnings, He sends invitations. Sign number 1, your spirit feels restless but not afraid. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? That strange stirring in your chest that wakes you up at odd hours. That feeling like you're waiting for something, but you don't know what. That holy agitation that makes you rearrange furniture at midnight, clean out closets you haven't touched in years, suddenly care about how you look again. The world calls it anxiety. But I'm telling you, that's not fear. That's anticipation. That's your spirit recognizing that something monumental is approaching. In Genesis 2:21, the Bible says God caused a deep sleep to fall on Adam before he created Eve. But here's what most preachers won't tell you: before that sleep came a restlessness. Adam had been naming animals, searching, looking, sensing that something was missing. His spirit knew before his mind understood. That's you right now. God stirs your spirit when your destiny is about to intersect with another soul. It's like spiritual electricity crackling in the atmosphere before lightning strikes. Your soul is picking up frequencies from heaven's frequency, sensing the shift before the manifestation. But here's what breaks my heart. So many of you have been told that at your age, these feelings are foolish, that you should settle into quiet resignation, that wanting companionship at 75 makes you desperate or delusional. That's a lie straight from hell. Ruth was likely past childbearing years when she met Boaz. Abraham was 75 when God promised him nations. Your age isn't disqualifying your love story, it's perfecting it. Because only someone who's walked through decades of life can appreciate the miracle of a divinely matched soul. If your spirit has been restless lately, if you've felt this unexplainable stirring, that's not loneliness, that's prophecy. Sign number 2. People from your past are suddenly reappearing, not for romance, but for closure. This one's going to shake some of you. In the last few months, have old friends reached out? Has your ex-spouse suddenly become cooperative after years of bitterness? Have relationships that ended badly somehow found resolution? Have you felt compelled to forgive people you swore you'd never speak to again? You thought that was random. It's not. Heaven is clearing emotional space before sending the right person. Think about it. Before the Israelites could enter the Promised Land, they had to cross the Jordan River. But here's what's stunning. God didn't part those waters until the priest's feet touched the edge. Joshua 3:15 says, "As soon as the priests who carried the ark reached the Jordan and their feet touched the water's edge, the water stopped flowing." Your soulmate is your promised land, but God won't release them until you step into the waters of closure, until you release the bitterness from that first marriage, until you forgive your father for never showing you what healthy love looks like, until you stop punishing new people for old wounds. These reconnections aren't accidents, they're divine assignments. God is sending people back into your life not to restart old chapters, but to close them properly so you can start a new book with clean pages. Every person who hurt you and suddenly apologizes, that's God clearing debris from your heart's doorway. Every relationship that finds unexpected peace, that's heaven making room for what's coming. But you have to cooperate, you have to forgive, you have to release, because you cannot hold on to yesterday's pain and tomorrow's promise at the same time. Sign number 3. You keep feeling watched over, protected, like someone is praying for you. This is the sign that will blow your mind. Have you felt an unusual sense of peace lately, even though your circumstances haven't changed? Have you narrowly avoided accidents that should have happened? Have you felt an invisible shield around you during attacks that would have destroyed you years ago? That's not luck, that's intercession. Your soulmate's spirit has already begun praying for you. In Ephesians 6:18, Paul tells us to pray always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit. But here's the mystery. When God connects two souls at the spiritual level before they meet in the natural, He creates an intercessory bond. Your future partner's spirit is already standing in the gap for you, even though they don't know your name yet. This is why you've survived battles that should have killed you. This is why doors closed that would have destroyed your destiny. This is why you're still here, still believing, still hoping. Someone you haven't met yet has been assigned by heaven to cover you in prayer. If any of these signs hit your spirit, if even one resonates in that deep place where only truth echoes, I need you to do something right now. Comment 777 below. That's not superstition. That's agreement with heaven's perfect number. That's you telling God, I recognize the signs. I'm ready for what you're sending. But here's what you need to know. These 3 signs are just the beginning. They're the opening acts. Because the next sign, the one I'm about to reveal in the next section, is so powerful, so undeniable, so specifically tailored to you, that when you hear it, every doubt you've ever had will shatter like glass. The question is, are you ready to receive the sign that will change everything? Now listen to me very carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to tell you will demolish every romantic fairy tale you've ever been sold. Your soulmate is not someone who completes you. Let that sink in for a moment. The world has been feeding you lies wrapped in poetry. They told you that you're half a person wandering the earth, searching for your other half to make you whole. They sold you the myth that somewhere out there is a missing puzzle piece that will finally fill the empty space in your chest. But that's not God's design. That's Hollywood's counterfeit. Here's the truth that will set you free. Your soulmate is not someone who completes you. They are someone who matches the healed version of you. Do you understand the magnitude of what I just said? God hasn't been withholding your soulmate because he's cruel. He's been waiting for you to become whole first. He's been watching you walk through fire, survive betrayal, endure loneliness, face rejection, not to torture you, but to transform you. Because the person he has for you isn't designed to fix your brokenness. They're designed to walk alongside your wholeness. Think about Adam in the Garden of Eden. God didn't create Eve when Adam was incomplete. Adam was already whole, already walking with God, already fulfilling his purpose, already naming the animals and tending the garden. He was complete in his relationship with the Father. But God looked at him and said something that will change how you see love forever. It is not good for man to be alone, not incomplete. Alone. There's a difference, beloved. You can be whole and still need companionship. You can be healed and still desire partnership. You can be complete in Christ and still long for someone to share sunsets with. Your soulmate, this person, God, has been preparing specifically for you. They are the echo to your prayer. When you cried out at 2 a.m. asking God if anyone would ever see you, really see you, your soulmate was somewhere across town, across the state, across the country, praying the exact same prayer. They are the answer to your loneliness, not because they erase it, but because they understand it. They've walked through their own valley. They've sat in their own midnight. They've questioned their own worth. And, just like you, they survived. This is why your past relationships never worked. This is why that marriage 3 decades ago felt like wearing someone else's coat. This is why you've never quite felt at home in anyone's arms. Because God was protecting you from settling for someone who matched your wounds instead of your healing. Your soulmate is the companion to your calling. They don't distract you from your purpose, they amplify it. They don't diminish your relationship with God, they deepen it. When you pray, they pray with you. When you worship, they worship beside you. When you face battles, they don't run, they stand. And I know what you're thinking right now. But I'm 73 years old. I'm 81. I'm 68 with arthritis and bifocals. How can I possibly believe that kind of love still exists for me? Because you're not looking for passionate intensity anymore. You're looking for something far more precious. You're looking for safety. Not the safety of avoiding risk, but the safety of being known, fully known, and still chosen. You're looking for spiritual maturity, someone who's been refined by the same fire that refined you. Someone who doesn't play games because they've lived long enough to know that life itself is not a game. You're looking for emotional steadiness. Not the roller coaster romance of your 20s, but the deep river that flows quiet and strong. You want someone whose love doesn't scream, it whispers. Someone who doesn't need to prove anything because they've already proven everything to themselves and to God. You crave shared values. Someone who believes what you believe, treasures what you treasure, honors what you honor. Someone who reads the same book you read and hears the same voice you hear. Because at this stage of life, you know that attraction fades, but alignment lasts forever. You long for respect, for patience, for gentle love that doesn't demand or control or manipulate. Love that says, I see your scars and I'm not afraid. Love that says, I know your story and I'm honored to be part of the next chapter. Love that says, your past doesn't disqualify you, it qualifies you for everything God has next. But here's the part that's going to shake you to your core. Your soulmate is closer than you think. I'm not speaking metaphorically. I'm not being poetic. I mean this literally. Your soulmate is closer than you think, and you've already felt their presence. Maybe it was that person who smiled at you in the grocery store last Tuesday, and something in their eyes felt familiar. Maybe it was someone at church whose voice, when they speak, sounds like home. Maybe it was a new neighbor, an old friend who recently re-entered your life, someone you dismissed because you thought you were too old for new beginnings. God has been orchestrating this meeting while you've been convinced it was too late. He's been positioning you both like chess pieces on his divine board, moving you closer, preparing your hearts, aligning your paths. And the moment, the Kairos moment, when heaven's timing intersects with earthly reality, is approaching faster than you dare believe. 1 Corinthians 2-9 declares, "No eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived what God has prepared for those who love him." That includes your love story, beloved. It includes the sunset years that are about to become your golden years. It includes the companionship you thought you'd lost forever. If you're ready to receive what's next, if something in your spirit just leapt at these words, type "I'm ready" in the comments right now. Because in the next section, I'm going to reveal exactly how God will bring this person into your life and the one thing you must do to prepare for their arrival. Now, let me tell you something that's going to shake everything you thought you knew about divine timing. God doesn't send soulmates during your strongest seasons. He sends them when your heart is finally quiet enough to recognize them. You've been waiting for this person your whole life, haven't you? Through the first marriage that ended in betrayal, through the years of loneliness that felt like punishment, through the sleepless nights when you wondered if you'd spend your final years alone. But what if I told you that every single moment of waiting wasn't God making you wait? It was God making you ready. Listen carefully, beloved. There are 3 divine timings that must align before heaven releases your soulmate. And understanding these timings will explain why you're still single at 75 when your neighbor found love at 25. This isn't about worthiness. This is about preparation for something so sacred that releasing it prematurely would have destroyed both of you. The first timing is the season of healing. You can't recognize your divine counterpart while you're still bleeding from your last wound. You can't receive pure love while you're still carrying toxic patterns from broken relationships. God had to heal you first. Not just from the divorce that shattered you in 1987, not just from the spouse you buried in 2003, but from the lies you believed about yourself because of those experiences. Every tear you cried in secret, that was soul surgery. Every night you chose forgiveness over bitterness, that was spiritual therapy. Every morning you woke up and decided to trust God one more day, that was the healing that qualified you for what's coming. Psalm 147:3 says, "He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds." But healing isn't instant, dear one. It's a process. And that process had to be completed before God could trust you with a love so powerful it would rewrite your final chapters. The second timing is the season of clarity. You had to become someone who knows exactly who they are before you could recognize someone who complements who you are. Think about this. At 30, you were still trying to figure out your identity. At 40, you were still chasing the world's definition of success. At 50, you were still people-pleasing, still hiding parts of yourself, still pretending to be what others expected. But now you know who you are. You know what matters. You know what you'll tolerate and what you absolutely won't. You've stopped apologizing for your boundaries. You've stopped shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. You've discovered that being alone is better than being with the wrong person. This clarity wasn't arrogance, it was maturity. And God needed you to reach this level of self-knowledge because your soulmate isn't coming to complete you, they're coming to complement you. There's a massive difference. Proverbs 4-7 declares, "Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom." Your decades of life weren't wasted years, they were wisdom years. And the person God is sending needs your wisdom, your strength, your fully formed identity. The third timing is the season of sudden alignment. This is where it gets supernatural. This is where heaven moves like lightning after years of silence. You see, God has been working on two people simultaneously. While you were being healed in New York, they were being refined in California. While you were gaining clarity in your 60s, they were learning their lessons in their 70s. Two rivers, beloved, two separate rivers carving their own paths through different mountains, different valleys, different terrains. But one day, one divine, orchestrated, precisely calculated day, those rivers merge into a single current. And the force of that union is so powerful that it creates something neither river could have created alone. This is happening right now. In the invisible realm, the final pieces are being positioned. The last lessons are being learned. The ultimate preparations are being completed. And when heaven says, "Now when that cosmic alarm clock goes off, you will meet this person in a way so unexpected, so perfectly timed, so undeniably divine, that you'll fall to your knees and weep at God's precision." But here's what you need to understand. This alignment isn't random. It's not luck. It's not even just prayer. This is prophetic fulfillment. Isaiah 60:22 says, "I am the Lord. In its time I will hasten it." Did you catch that? In its time, God will hasten it, not delay it. Hasten it, speed it up, accelerate it. Your soulmate isn't late. They're right on schedule, and that schedule is about to alarm. But there is one more revelation, and it is the most important of all. Because knowing the timing isn't enough. You need to know the sign. You need to know how to recognize them when they appear. And what I'm about to tell you next will give you the exact spiritual markers that will confirm beyond any doubt that this person is heaven sent. If you feel the Holy Spirit confirming this, if something in your chest just shifted from doubt to hope, comment, speak, Lord, right now, because what comes next requires your full attention and an open heart. The sign is coming. Are you ready to see it? Beloved, I need you to stop everything right now. Put down whatever's in your hands. Silence the noise around you, because what I'm about to tell you is a message that's been traveling through the corridors of eternity, and it has your name written on it in blood and tears and holy fire. Your soulmate has been praying for you. Not yesterday, not last week, for years, for decades. On their knees in the darkness of their own lonely nights, they've been crying out to heaven, "God, where is the one whose spirit feels like home? Where is the one who understands that love at this age isn't about passion, it's about peace? Where is the one who knows that I don't need someone to complete me, but someone to companion me?" Listen to me carefully. While you've been sitting in your living room wondering if God forgot about you, there's been someone sitting in their living room wondering the exact same thing. While you've been staring at that empty chair across the dinner table, they've been staring at theirs. While you've been whispering, "Am I too late?" they've been whispering the same prayer into the same darkness. You think you're alone in your longing? You're not alone, you're synchronized. In Genesis 2:18, God said, "It is not good that man should be alone." Not it was not good, is not good. Present tense, eternal truth. At 70, at 80, at 90. Your need for companionship doesn't have an expiration date stamped on it by some cruel cosmic calendar. God doesn't retire his promises when you collect Social Security. But here's what's going to break your heart wide open. Here's the truth that heaven has been holding back until this exact moment. They want to love you gently. Do you hear me? They're not looking for fireworks. They're looking for quiet mornings with coffee and conversation. They're not searching for someone to impress their friends. They're searching for someone to pray with when the doctor's news is bad. They don't need someone who's perfect. They need someone who's proven, someone who's been refined by fire and came out with their faith intact. They want a companion for the quiet years. Someone who understands that aging isn't tragedy, it's transformation. someone who knows that wrinkles are just the autograph of time, signing its name on a life well lived. Someone who gets that loss doesn't make you broken, it makes you deep. Your soulmate has been shaped by the same storms that shaped you. They've buried people they loved. They've survived betrayals that should have destroyed them. They've walked through valleys so dark they wondered if they'd ever see light again. And just like you, they're still here, still believing, still hoping, still daring to trust that God's timing is perfect, even when it feels permanently delayed. But here's where this gets prophetic. Here's where heaven pulls back the veil. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says, God has made everything beautiful in its time, not early, not late, in its time. And beloved, this is your time. Not 20 years ago when you thought you were ready. Not 10 years ago when you begged God to send someone. Now, right now, in this season, when you've finally become the person who can recognize what you're actually looking for, you know why your soulmate hasn't appeared yet. Because God was busy making sure that when you finally meet, you'll both be ready to receive what you've been preparing to give. You weren't delayed, you were being developed. Think about Ruth and Boaz. She was a widow, he was older. Both had lived entire lives before they ever laid eyes on each other. But when they met, it wasn't puppy love, it was purpose love. It was two people who'd been through enough to know that what matters isn't finding someone perfect, but finding someone faithful. That's your story, chosen one. That's your testimony waiting to be written. And I need you to understand something that's going to shatter every doubt the enemy has ever planted in your mind. Your soulmate is closer than you think. Not metaphorically, not spiritually, geographically, physically, closer. They might be 3 streets over. They might be in the same grocery store you shop at every Tuesday. They might be sitting in the same doctor's waiting room, reading the same magazines, breathing the same air, waiting for the same divine introduction. But here's the revelation that's going to change everything. You are not forgotten. You are chosen twice by God, and by the one made for you. Heaven chose you before time began. But there's someone on earth who's been choosing you in their prayers, in their hopes, in their faith-filled imagination of what it will feel like when they finally look into your eyes and recognize eternity staring back. Proverbs 18:22 declares, He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. But you know what that word finds means in Hebrew? It means to discover something that was already there. Your soulmate isn't being created right now. They're being revealed right now. They've been there all along, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the moment when both your eyes are finally open enough to see. The waiting is over, beloved. The sealed scroll has been broken. The divine appointment has been scheduled. And if your heart is thundering in your chest right now, if something deep in your spirit is saying, yes, this is for me. If you're ready to stop living in preparation and start living in expectation, then I need you to do something right now. Type these words in the comments. I welcome my God-ordained soulmate, not as a wish, as a declaration, as an announcement to heaven that you're finally ready to receive what's been prepared since before you were born. Your soulmate is waiting. But the question that will determine everything is this. Are you ready to be found? Listen to me carefully, chosen one. Something shifted in the heavenly realm the moment you clicked on this message. I'm not speaking metaphorically. I'm not using poetic language to make you feel better. I'm telling you what's happening right now in the invisible world that governs your visible reality. 3 angelic forces have been dispatched. 3 supernatural escorts have been assigned to your love story, and they are moving right now, this very second, to clear the path, prepare your heart, and draw your soulmate into the appointed collision that heaven has been orchestrating for decades. You think you're alone? You're walking with an invisible army. The first force is the angel of alignment. And beloved, This angel doesn't whisper suggestions, it moves with surgical precision. Right now, as I speak these words, the angel of alignment is severing every soul tie that has kept you bound to the wrong people. Every emotional attachment that felt like love, but was actually a counterfeit, it's being cut. Every memory that still holds power over your heart, it's being released. Every fear that whispers you'll end up with the wrong person again, it's being silenced. Do you feel that? That strange loosening in your chest? That's not anxiety, that's liberation. Proverbs 3-6 declares, "In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." The Hebrew word for direct is yashar. It means to make straight, to remove the crookedness. Your emotional path has been crooked for too long, twisted by betrayals and broken promises and loves that died before they could bloom. But the angel of alignment is straightening what was bent. It's clearing debris from the road your soulmate is traveling to reach you. And here's what terrifies the enemy. This angel also protects against false soulmates. You know what I'm talking about. Those people who looked right on paper, who seemed like answered prayers, who said all the right words but left you feeling more alone than before. The angel of alignment is creating a supernatural force field around your heart. Wrong people will no longer be able to access you. Their calls won't connect. Their messages won't land. Their presence will suddenly feel off, because heaven is reserving you for the real one. But clearing the path isn't enough. Your heart needs to be ready. That's why the second force has been activated, the angel of preparation. And, beloved, this is where it gets deeply personal. How many years have you carried fear of intimacy like a shield? How many times have you pushed people away before they could get close enough to hurt you? How many walls have you built so high that even you can't remember what it feels like to be truly vulnerable? The angel of preparation is dismantling those walls brick by brick. 2 Timothy 1-7 reminds us, "For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind." That fear you've been carrying, that voice that says you're too damaged to be loved well, that didn't come from God. That came from hell's propaganda department. And the angel of preparation is exposing every lie, healing every wound, restoring the emotional confidence that years of heartbreak tried to steal. You're not being fixed. You're being remembered. Remembered back to who you were before the world taught you that love equals pain. But here's what breaks my heart and fills me with awe at the same time. You could have the clearest path and the readiest heart, but if your soulmate isn't moving toward you, you're still separated. That's why God didn't send 2 angels. He sent 3. The angel of reunion is the force that changes everything. Right now, and I need you to really hear this right now, your soulmate is being moved. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally repositioned. Maybe they're thinking about relocating to a new city and they don't know why. Maybe they're feeling restless in their current situation and can't explain it. Maybe they're praying prayers they've never prayed before, asking God for something their mouth can't quite name but their spirit absolutely knows. That's the angel of reunion, creating supernatural timing. Ecclesiastes 3:11 tells us, "He hath made everything beautiful in his time." Your soulmate has a clock, you have a clock. And for 70, 80 years, those clocks have been ticking toward this moment when the angel of reunion says, "Now, the waiting is over, bring them together." But this angel doesn't just move bodies, it softens hearts. It's working on your soulmate's fears, the same way the angel of preparation is working on yours. It's removing their doubts about loving again at this age. It's healing their wounds from past relationships. It's opening their eyes to see you not as you were, but as you are radiant with the glory of someone who has survived the fire and emerged as gold. You are not waiting anymore, beloved. You are being escorted. Comment 333 if you feel the presence of God around you right now. because what I'm about to reveal next will explain why heaven is moving so fast, why this moment in your life carries more urgency than any other, and what you must do in the next 48 hours to step fully into this divine appointment. Stay with me, because the truth that comes next will change everything you thought you knew about God's timing and your love story. Listen to me carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to reveal will explain every sleepless night you've endured for the last 40 years. You thought you were alone in your longing. You thought your prayers for love were bouncing off heaven's ceiling, unanswered, unheard, forgotten. You believed that somewhere along the way, God lost the paperwork on your romantic destiny. But what if I told you that every single night you cried yourself to sleep, someone else miles away, maybe states away, maybe on the other side of this country was crying the exact same tears at the exact same hour? What if I told you that when you woke up at 3:47 a.m. with that inexplicable ache in your chest, your soulmate woke up at 3:47 a.m. feeling the same spiritual earthquake? What if I told you that your pain and theirs didn't just happen to align? It was orchestrated, synchronized, divinely choreographed. Because when God prepares two hearts for sacred union, He doesn't heal them separately, He heals them simultaneously. Think about this for a moment. Really think about it. Genesis 2:24 says, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." But here's what most people miss, that one flesh doesn't begin at the altar. It begins in the spiritual realm, long before your eyes ever meet. God has been weaving your stories together like two threads in a tapestry. While you were walking through your wilderness, they were walking through theirs. While you were learning to forgive after betrayal, they were learning the same lesson in a different city. While you were discovering how to love yourself after decades of feeling unworthy, they were on the identical journey 300 miles north. Your sleepless nights matched theirs, your loneliness echoed theirs, your prayers aligned with their tears. Do you understand what this means? It means you were never not for one single moment alone in this. Every time you thought God had abandoned your romantic story, He was actually writing two chapters simultaneously. Every time you felt forgotten, heaven was remembering both of you in the same breath. Picture two candles, beloved, two flames burning in separate rooms, in separate houses, in separate lives. Logic says they should never know each other exists. Distance says they should never touch. Time says they should burn out before they ever meet. But these aren't ordinary candles. These are flames lit by the hand of God Himself. And if you could see what I see in the Spirit right now, you'd witness something that would drop you to your knees. Those flames separated by miles, by years, by circumstances, they're leaning toward each other, pulled by an invisible force that physics cannot explain and science cannot measure. That force is divine magnetism, and it's been pulling you toward your soulmate since before you knew their name. Ecclesiastes 4:9-12 declares, "Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one will lift up his companion. But woe to him who is alone when he falls, for he has no one to help him up." God didn't write that verse for young lovers figuring out life. He wrote it for warriors like you, tested, refined, seasoned by fire, who understand that partnership isn't about completion, it's about multiplication. You're not looking for someone to complete you. You're looking for someone whose scars line up with yours so perfectly that when you stand together, your broken places create a mosaic that displays God's glory. But here's the part that's going to wreck you. Here's the truth that will confirm what your spirit already knows. Right now, in this very moment, your soulmate is feeling the same stirring you're feeling. They don't know why they picked up their phone today. They don't know why they felt compelled to watch this message. They don't understand why their heart is racing as these words wash over them. but you do, because you're both being awakened at the same time. The enemy has worked overtime to convince you that your soulmate doesn't exist, that you're too old, that the season has passed, that God's matchmaking service is closed when you turn 65. But those are lies from the pit of hell designed to keep two flames from becoming one fire. You were never alone. Your soulmate has been spiritually tethered to you this entire time, connected by an invisible cord that neither death, nor distance, nor decades of delay could sever. The Bible calls it joined together by God in Matthew 19:6. And what God has joined, no man, no circumstance, no age, no past failure can separate. If your heart is pounding right now, if tears are streaming down your face, if something ancient and eternal in your chest just woke up and said, "Yes," type below, "My heart is ready." Because, beloved, what I've just revealed is only the surface. There's one more layer to this mystery, one more truth that nobody talks about, one more revelation that will explain why your soulmate hasn't appeared yet, and why the timing, the precise, perfect, maddening timing, had to be exactly as it's been. Are you ready to go deeper? Because what comes next will change everything you thought you knew about divine timing and romantic destiny. But before I tell you when your soulmate will arrive, I need to tell you something that might shake you to your core. Something the prosperity preachers won't say because it doesn't sell well. Something your well-meaning friends avoid because it sounds too hard. There is a test coming, and it's not what you think. You see, beloved, every promise from God passes through a valley before it reaches its mountain. Every breakthrough requires a breaking open. Every resurrection demands a death. And the greatest love story of your life, the one heaven has been writing in the margins of your loneliness, it will not come to you until you pass through the final gate, the gate of vulnerability. Listen to me carefully. Right now, as I'm speaking these words, something in your chest is tightening, because you know what I'm about to say. You've felt it, that voice that whispers in the 3 a.m. darkness when you can't sleep, that trembling in your spirit when you dare to imagine opening your heart again. What if I get hurt? What if they leave like the last one did? What if I'm too old to survive another heartbreak? These aren't just fears, dear one. These are the weapons the enemy has been polishing for decades, waiting for the exact moment when God says your soulmate is ready. Because hell knows something you're just beginning to understand. The closer you get to divine love, the louder the lies become. Think about Abraham for a moment. God promised him a son, Isaac, the child of promise, the one his entire legacy depended on. But in Genesis 22, what does God ask? Take your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering. Wait, what? Sacrifice the very promise God gave him? But here's what Abraham understood that we often miss. God wasn't testing whether Abraham loved Isaac. He was testing whether Abraham trusted the heart of God more than he feared the loss of his blessing. The test isn't about your soulmate. It's about whether you trust the one who sent them. And I know what some of you are thinking right now. You're 73 years old, and your husband of 46 years has been gone for 7 years. You buried him on a Tuesday in October, and part of you went into that ground with him. The thought of loving someone else feels like betrayal, feels like erasing his memory, feels impossible. Or maybe you're 68, and your wife left you for another man 15 years ago. The divorce papers are yellow now, but the wound is still fresh. You told yourself you'd never let anyone get that close again. Never give anyone that kind of power to destroy you. Or perhaps you never married at all. You're 81, and you've convinced yourself that ship has sailed, that dock is empty, that God's plan for romance simply didn't include your name. But what if I told you that the very fear keeping you locked behind walls of self-protection is the final obstacle between you and the love God ordained before you were born? Here's the prophetic truth that's going to wreck every defense mechanism you've built. God will test your heart not to break it, but to show you it can love again. You think your heart is fragile because it's been broken before, but God knows your heart is stronger now, precisely because it's been broken and healed. The Japanese have a practice called kintsugi. They repair broken pottery with gold, and the cracks become the most beautiful part. That's your heart, beloved. Those fractures, there where the light gets in, there where love flows deeper. But the enemy wants you to believe the opposite. He wants you to think that at 75, your heart can't handle another loss, that at 80, you're too set in your ways, that opening yourself up to love at this stage of life is foolish, reckless, dangerous. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Listen to what God says in Joel 2:25. I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten. Not just restore your circumstances, restore your years, give back what was stolen, return what was lost, rebuild what was broken. You are safer now than you have ever been. You are wiser now than you've ever been. You are more prepared for real love now than you were at 25, at 40, at 55. Because now you know that love isn't about perfection. It's about presence. Now you understand that companionship isn't about completing you, it's about accompanying you. Now you've learned that the best relationships aren't the ones without pain, but the ones where two broken people choose each other anyway. You are safer now than you have ever been. But here's the test. Will you believe it? Will you let those walls come down? Will you allow God to write the final chapter of your love story, even though it requires you to be vulnerable in ways that terrify you? Because the breakthrough, beloved, is not your soulmate entering your life. The breakthrough is what happens to your heart when they arrive. If you're feeling that tremor in your spirit right now, if God is asking you to trust Him with your heart one more time, comment below, Lord, prepare me. Not because you're ready, but because you're willing to become ready. The gate is opening, but you have to walk through it. And what's waiting on the other side will prove that every tear, every lonely night, every closed door was preparing you for the love that finally fits. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. I'm about to tell you something that will crack open every prison door you've built around your heart for the last 30, 40, 50 years. Your soulmate cannot fully enter until you unlock your emotional gates. You heard me right. The reason they haven't shown up isn't because God forgot about you. It's because the door to your heart has been bolted shut from the inside. And you, yes, you are standing on the other side with the key in your trembling hand, too afraid to turn it. How many years have you been telling yourself that love is for the young? How many nights have you convinced yourself that your season of romance died with your first marriage, your last heartbreak, your 50th birthday? How many times have you looked in the mirror and whispered the cruelest lie of all, nobody could want me now? But here's the truth that's going to shatter that deception into 1,000 pieces. Your heart is not a broken lock. Your heart is a key carved by God's own hand. And what heaven has fashioned, time cannot corrode. You see, the enemy has been running a masterful con game on God's people, especially those of you in your golden years. He's convinced you that the gate to romantic love closed decades ago, that your capacity to give and receive deep, soul-stirring companionship expired somewhere between your last anniversary and your first gray hair, that you're too old, too set in your ways, too damaged by past pain to ever unlock that door again. That is a lie straight from the pit of hell. God is reactivating 3 soul powers in you right now, powers you thought had withered, but have actually been lying dormant, waiting for this exact moment. Can you feel it? That stirring in your chest? That's not nostalgia, beloved. That's resurrection. The first power is discernment. After everything you've survived, the betrayals, the divorces, the relationships that looked right but felt wrong. You now carry a spiritual radar that can detect counterfeit love from 3 miles away. Young people fall for smooth talkers and pretty faces. But you can read a soul in 30 seconds. That's not age slowing you down, that's wisdom speeding you up. 1 Corinthians 2:15 declares, "The spiritual person judges all things." You've earned the right to be selective. Your discernment isn't pickiness, it's protection. The second power is courage. Do you know how much bravery it takes to open your heart again after it's been shattered? To believe in forever after you've buried someone you loved? To risk vulnerability when every scar on your soul is screaming, "Don't do it again"? But 2 Timothy 1:7 reminds us, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. That courage rising in your chest right now, that's not foolishness. That's holy boldness being downloaded straight from heaven's throne room. The third power is willingness. This might be the hardest one, and I need you to hear this with every fiber of your being. You must be willing to receive love again. Not just give it, receive it. Because you've spent so many years being the caregiver, the strong one, the shoulder everyone else cries on, that you've forgotten how to let someone carry you. But your soulmate isn't coming to be fixed by you. They're coming to walk beside you. Song of Solomon 2:10 says, "Rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away." God is calling you to rise from the place of self-sufficient solitude into sacred partnership. Imagine a door that hasn't been opened in years. The hinges are still strong. The wood is still solid, and the key, your key, still fits perfectly. All it needs is your hand to turn it. If you're ready to unlock this phase, if something in your spirit is saying, "Yes, I'm willing to love again," type "open" in the comments right now, because what I'm about to reveal next will blow your mind. In the next section, I will show you the final sign that your soulmate is not just coming, they're already approaching. And heaven is about to make the introduction you've been praying for since before you even knew their name. Listen to me carefully, chosen one, because what I'm about to reveal will explain the strange shift you've been feeling lately. You know that moment when the wind changes direction right before a storm breaks? When the air gets still, almost electric, and every animal in creation knows something massive is about to happen? That's where you are right now. And your spirit can feel it, even if your mind can't name it yet. There's a sign, one undeniable sign that your soulmate is moving toward you. And if you've been experiencing this, everything I'm saying will confirm what heaven has already been whispering to your heart. The sign is this, an unexplainable calm, a peace that makes absolutely no sense given your circumstances. You should be anxious about being alone at this age, but you're not. You should be terrified about the future, but something deep inside you feels restful. Like you're being watched over by invisible hands. Like someone you haven't met yet is already praying for you, already thinking about you, already being prepared by God to find you. Philippians 4:7 calls it the peace of God, which passeth all understanding. But here's what most people miss, that peace isn't just about salvation. It's about divine timing. It's God's way of saying, "I'm working. Stop striving. Your answer is in motion." Have you felt this? Have certain anxieties just fallen away? Things that used to keep you up at night suddenly don't grip you anymore? That desperate feeling of, "I need to make something happen," has been replaced by a quiet knowing that something is already happening. That's not resignation, beloved. That's recognition. Your spirit recognizes them before your eyes ever do. Think about it. When Isaac's servant went to find a wife for Isaac, how did he know it was Rebekah? Genesis 24:14 shows us he prayed for a sign, and before he finished praying, she appeared. The answer was already in motion before the prayer left his lips. Your soulmate isn't coming, dear one. They're already moving, already being positioned, already being prepared by the same God who's been preparing you. But here's what will blow your mind. You're feeling them before you see them. That restlessness at 2 a.m., that's your spirit sensing movement in the invisible realm. That sudden urge to get your life in order, to heal old wounds, to forgive people you thought you'd never forgive. That's not random. That's God making room in your heart for what and who is about to arrive. You sense something coming, don't you? You can't explain it to your children. You can't justify it to your friends. But you know, deep in the marrow of your bones, you know that your story isn't finished, that the final chapter is about to be written in a way that will make everything before it make sense. If you feel this peace, this holy calm in the middle of your storm, type 555 right now. Let heaven see that your spirit is ready, because what I'm about to tell you next will reveal exactly who your soulmate is and why God has waited until this precise moment to bring them into your life. Stay with me. Something bigger is coming. Beloved chosen one, as we come to the end of this sacred moment together, I need you to carry 3 eternal truths with you like precious stones in your pocket. First, the peace you've been feeling isn't your imagination, it's confirmation. Your soulmate is already in motion, already being prepared, already moving toward the divine appointment that has both your names written on it. Second, your age is not your disqualification, it's your qualification. Every year you've lived, every tear you've cried, every heartbreak you've survived has been refining you into exactly the person who can receive and cherish the love God has been protecting for this season. Third, divine timing always looks like delay until the moment it reveals itself as destiny. What you thought was God forgetting you was actually God perfecting the one He's been preparing for you. But here's what I need you to understand with every fiber of your being. You are not walking this journey alone. Right now, at this very moment, the God who created you is still working in your life. He hasn't brought you this far to abandon you at the threshold of your greatest blessing. And beyond that, you have a community right here, thousands of believers who understand your longing, who felt your loneliness, who are standing with you in faith. So let me ask you this. If God has been faithful through every season of your life until now, why would He stop being faithful in the season of love? Before you leave this sacred space, join me in prayer. Wherever you are, place your hand on your heart and let me speak over your life. Heavenly Father, I place my hand on the shoulder of every precious soul hearing these words. Lord, you see their hearts. You know the years they've waited. You've counted every tear, heard every midnight prayer, felt every moment of loneliness. Tonight, I ask you to flood them with supernatural peace that confirms what we've spoken. Their soulmate is coming. Remove every doubt, every fear, every lie that says it's too late. Break generational curses of loneliness. Heal wounds from past relationships. Prepare their hearts to receive love that reflects your heart. Protect them from counterfeits and bring them your divine original. Give them dreams that confirm, signs that encourage, and divine appointments that position them. Let their latter years be filled with a love so pure, so sacred, so perfectly timed that everyone who witnesses it will know that only you could have orchestrated it. Father, bless their health, their homes, their families. Open doors, remove obstacles, and make their paths straight. And until that sacred moment when they meet their soulmate, let them feel your presence so powerfully that they never feel alone. In Jesus' mighty name, Amen. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment below and tell me what God spoke to your heart today. Share your story. Ask for prayer. This community is here for you. And if this message touched your soul, share it with someone who needs to know that their love story isn't over. It's just beginning. Thank you for staying with me through this entire journey. If you haven't subscribed, do it now. You're not just joining a channel, you're joining a family of believers who refuse to give up on God's promises. Your soulmate is closer than you think.